Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's me again, Chelsea, and today I am doing a book tag. So I saw this book tag on Eric's channel. I will link that down below. I will also link the original poster. I believe their name was Steph. So I have a list of questions on my phone and I'm just gonna talk you through them because I think it's more of a talky video than a showing up book things, but I haven't actually checked these questions, so let's see how we get on. So question 1 is, do you consider yourself a mood reader? And personally, yes and no. So no, because I try and set my TBR every single month and that gives me a goal to achieve, and I am very goal driven myself. I don't know if anyone else is exactly the same, but I find that I excel more when I have things to tick off, so prompts of readathons, that kind of thing. But I do think I am also a mood reader to an extent, because sometimes I look at my TBR and it's just not inspiring joy, so I have to switch it up a bit and try and read something else to try and engage myself back into reading, because I feel as though sometimes if I stick to my TBR too much or too closely, sometimes that can really trigger a massive slump and I just don't want to read anymore. Question 2, so I've already kind of answered this, is do you set TBRs and do you stick to them? So sometimes yes, I stick to them 100%, and most of the time no. This is partly because of, like, I don't know, my mood reader-esque qualities, I guess, and the fact that I'm really easily distracted, that doesn't help at all. So I try and organise a TBR every single month and decide that these are the books I'm going to concentrate on this month, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and a lot of the times I end up switching prompts out for other books. Maybe it's because I've run out of time or because those books are just not inspiring me and I don't really want to read them at that moment in time, but I try. So I try to set TBRs and I try to complete them. Question 3 is, do books affect you emotionally? So yes and no. So I am still yet to cry at a book. I don't know if that is because I'm dead inside or because, like, I don't know, something about the writing. I also don't cry at movies or TV shows. I suppose there are certain things that I get kind of sad about, and that's predominantly, like, I don't know, military families being reunited and stuff. That sort of stuff kind of touches my heart a little bit, but otherwise no. But I do have books that have made me, like, insanely happy and excited, and I do find thrillers quite intriguing, so I suppose some emotions, yes, I find that books have an effect on, but like my sadness emotion, not really. Question 4 is, when you're feeling sad, do you like to read sad, happy or neutral books? I don't really read. If I feel sad, I go to either comfort reads that I'm trying to reread. Audiobooks are a big one. So I don't really have, like, you know, a happy, sad, neutral kind of thing. I just kind of go for whatever's easiest, I guess. Predominantly audiobooks, because when I'm sad it's just something I can listen to and I can scroll on my phone absent-mindedly and not have to concentrate too hard, I guess. So no real happy, sad, neutral. I suppose maybe if I was feeling like really sad, I'd look for a happy book, but I'm a predominantly fantasy reader, so books aren't really happy in that genre. They're either chunky or sad. They're not really happy. I don't really think, let me know down below if I'm wrong here, but I don't really think a lot of fantasy authors, you know, go into their idea of stories with keeping your heart intact. Most of them want to just rip them out and stomp on them on the floor. J. Christoph, I'm looking at you. So yeah, when I'm sad, I mainly don't read. I watch TV. I just mong completely, so kind of answers it, right? Question 5 is, most often do you use reading to escape, learn or critically reflect? 100% escape. That is why I read fantasy books. I've been called out on this a couple of times actually since moving into where we currently live, because we live with Jack's granddad and he just doesn't get why I read fantasy books, which is completely okay. But I read fantasy because it's nothing like real life. There's enough rubbish going on in the world. that sometimes I just want to switch off and go somewhere else. Because when you come out of a fantasy book and things are hitting the fan, yes, I feel it, and I feel sorry for my characters and the ones that I am following, but I know that it's, one, not real, so the people in that story aren't, you know, they are forever affected, but it's not going on in my world. And two, I can do a Joey and shut the book and put it in the freezer to stop the plot. I'm yet to do that, but I mean, you can easily walk away from a book. I feel like, especially with recent events, I haven't been able to like walk away from real life. There have been a lot of bad things constantly in the press and on social media, and it's just always on top of you. So to read a book where I'm reading about dragons really helps. So yeah, I mainly read to escape. Also, I don't go to uni anymore. I graduated a couple of years ago now, which is sad, makes me feel old, but I graduated a couple of years ago, so I don't really need to read to learn anymore. I have no textbooks to go through. I do like occasionally reading a non-fiction and experiencing someone's autobiography. I really enjoyed Michelle Obama's one, and I have plans to pick up other people's, but I just haven't got to it yet, and my list of fantasy books is constantly growing, so I feel as though sometimes I have more pressing things to read. Question 6 is, what is a book that made you laugh out loud? Book that made me laugh out. Oh, okay, recently it's been Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. I haven't actually finished it. I'm currently listening to the audiobook, but if you have not read that book already, or you have and you want to give it a reread, I highly recommend the audiobook, because although I find it very difficult to differentiate between Kiem and Jiem, I think they're the names, I could be completely wrong, apologies if I am, I don't have the book in front of me. But although I find it difficult to like tell the difference between who's meant to be talking, however, their banter is hilarious in audiobook form. I don't know what the narrator does, but it has made me chuckle a couple of times, and I've actually really enjoyed reading it. I thought it was great fun. I am like halfway through now, I think, so I want to hopefully finish that. I don't know when, but I plan to finish it. But yeah, definitely, that definitely made me chuckle out loud, so highly recommend the audiobook for that. Question 7 is, what is a book that made you cry? If you don't cry, one that moved you. Okay, 100% it was Crescent City, right here, House of Earth and Blood, and it is the final scenes at the end that really moved me. I don't know if anyone else agrees, probably, because Sarah J Maas has a big following, but yeah, the last maybe like 100 or so pages, maybe not even that, really moved me, and I could see, like, if I was a crier, that maybe that would have been the thing. It was more like kind of happy tears as well, because of the situation. It's not necessarily all sad, but it kind of is all sad, and there's a lot of emotion going into it, and yeah, definitely that one, 100%. Question 8 is, what is a book you didn't even know how you felt about after? As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. So I love this book, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it. Gave it 4 stars, but the reason I was a bit about it is because I was kind of conflicted on my rating, I guess, kind of thing. Maybe that's why. Okay, there's 2, so I'll talk about this one first, then I'll go to the other one. That was more like a rating kind of, I didn't know how I felt about that book until I'd given it like a little while to marinate. That was purely because there was a part in the middle, I've said this in my review, where I felt as though the book itself was really, really slow. So the beginning was great, loved the mystery, loved all that sort of thing, the build up. Then we got to the bit in the middle and I was like, okay, how is this gonna be believable? I don't really know. But then the end was fantastic, and just watching Pip throughout the whole thing, like, some of it just proper tugged on my heartstrings. So that was more of a like rating kerfuddle. But as a human, not knowing how I felt about a book, that was definitely the Poppy War. I'm rereading it currently, so I'm hoping to finish it this month. I was meant to finish it last month, but that didn't work. But definitely that one, for the fact that it covers a lot of serious topics. No one is really a good or a bad character. There's a lot of morally grey people. I knew that I really enjoyed it, but there were so many moments within that book itself that kind of make you reflect on humanity, I guess, and how grey certain people are, and how no one's really a good person, even though you try your best to be. I don't know, there was like a lot of things in that book that I was like, oh, do you know what? Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that book. But I do recommend it. Check trigger warnings, obviously, if you want to check out Poppy War. There are quite a few, hence my unsureness. But I enjoyed it, I did, and I'm looking forward to enjoying it again the second time round. I just need to actually progress onto the second and third books and finish out this series, because it's been long enough. Question 9 is, are you more likely to read on a sunny or a cloudy day? 100% cloudy day. Give me a fluffy blanket or my knockoff hoodie, give me hot chocolate, give me snacks, give me blankets, give me pillows, and I'm sorted, and I'll just curl up on my bed and I will not do anything. However, if it's a sunny day, I feel like I should be outside, should be enjoying the sun, I should be doing something. I don't really know, being in a pool, in a hot tub. In the UK here, we don't really have the means in which to deal with the sun, so you feel like you have to be outside, otherwise you get too hot in your house, because we don't have aircon and fans just push the hot air around. So definitely more likely to read on a cloudy day. I like those cozy vibes, and we're getting into autumn and I love it. Love it so much. Oh, and candles. Light me a candle. Perfect day. Question 10 is, do you usually set the mood when you read? Music, lights, smell, etc.? No, I don't. However, if I'm in a particularly all over the place mood and I don't really know what I'm gonna be like, I do have a habit of sticking on now an ASMR room, usually like one of those classroom ones or rain outside. I prefer the fire crackling ones that like kind of have fire crackling in them, maybe like a coffee shop kind of thing, or a like common room-esque kind of vibe, but without the rain sometimes. But when I'm feeling particularly like easily distracted, I put that on the TV, and then I put my phone far away, and then I can actually sit and read because I'm less likely to scroll. And if there's something on the TV that's just noise, the TV's in use. And I do feel as though I am a big person sometimes that's like, oh well, I could just watch TV and read, and then I get preoccupied by what I'm watching and then I don't read. Which is a pain. I also do quite enjoy taking part in reading sprints. I do think that sometimes when I'm in that mood and it's the right creator, that I am more motivated to read, and sometimes it's one creator that I'm like, yeah, I really gel with you today, and sometimes it's another one and it's a completely mood dependent thing. Sometimes I want there to be one creator who's just reading off the screen on people's comments and then doing their sprints, and sometimes I want that group vibe where there's multiple people on the screen and they're having chats and they're having some banter and that sort of thing. It just kind of depends what mood I'm in, really, funnily enough. And then finally, the final question is, can you leap from book to book, or do you need buffer time between? I leap from book to book, chapter to chapter. Like, I'm terrible for this. So my attention span is tiny, like it's minuscule, like it's ridiculous. And some days I will read 3 books in one day and I will only read like 20 pages per book, because no one book will hold my attention. Now, when I did my, I think it was my currently reading video, if you haven't seen that, I'll link that up there. I mentioned, or it could have been my DNF, I don't know, can't remember. Anyways, I mentioned about like reading all these books and how like usually it takes me until like the 100-150 page mark to get into a book, which is common for a lot of people. However, I don't stick it out. I will then jump from book to book to book to book until something grabs my attention, because sometimes I want to read but none of the books are working for me, and I really struggle with this. So it means that quite often I have got at least 15 to 20 odd books on the go at one time. And this is not because I'm not enjoying the books. I have to say that, because I do feel as though sometimes that's what's coming across to people, is that you're just like, oh well, just DNF it, you don't enjoy it, what's the point in trying? And the point is that I know my reading mood is like this. If I read something in one day that I love, and then I go to sleep and I wake up the next day and I'm like, do don't really feel like that. I will pick up something else, and I will start book after book after book, and I will eventually finish them, or I will DNF them, and that's completely, obviously, dependent on my mood and on the day and on the week. But yeah, I don't need any time to jump. I jump all the time. So when I finish a book, if I still feel like reading and it's not bedtime, I will just jump straight into another book, because I can. I can digest things really quickly. Sometimes I do get book hangovers, like Addie LaRue. After I finished that book, I kind of had to sit there for a day and a bit because I couldn't pick anything else up. I couldn't find anything that was written as beautifully, and that was my problem, but that's okay, because not everything is written as beautifully as V. Schwab books, because they're just not. And that's fine, because that's not the point. But anyways, no is the answer to that question. Very long-winded answer to that question, but no, I don't need buffer time. I can literally pick up a book and go, oh, I like this, really enjoyed it, put it in my little core pile thing, put my rating up, next book. Chaotic. But there you go, there are all 11 questions. I've answered them all. I've actually really enjoyed this. It's just a general chatty video. It's quite nice. Kind of had a bit of a think as well while I was stood here picking my books out my head. Which is good, because often I just can't remember anything. But anyways, that is everything for today's video. Please give it a thumbs up if you like it. Let me know. It really supports me and my channel. Leave me a comment down below. Do you mood read? Are you a mood reader, or do you like TBRs? Let me know down below. And if you just want to leave me an emoji, then leave me any sassy emoji down below. Any of them. There's quite a few. There's this, there's this, there's a few. And if you want to see more of me, and you know, I am hoping to get back into vlogging next week. Fingers crossed, because we're getting close to my birthday and I want to vlog my birthday week, because I'm hoping that we're going to do some fun things. Not massively fun, mainly just eating, but I still want to vlog it. So if you want to see more of me, please consider subscribing down below and ringing that notification bell so you get notified every single time I upload new videos. I currently upload on a Wednesday and on a Sunday, so be sure to stick around for more bookish content from me. But otherwise, that's everything for today's video. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye!